Copy and pasted Homerian poetry within the Quran, which makes one wonder if the writers, editors, or even the one who dictated the Quran itself might have known of Homer's Odyssey. First, I will read a section from the Odyssey, Book 7, beginning in line 14, quote, "Cast about him a thick mist, that no one of the great-hearted Phaeacians meeting him should speak mockingly to him, and ask him who he was. But when he was about to enter the lovely city, then the goddess, flashing-eyed Athena, met him in the guise of a young maiden carrying a pitcher. And she stood before him, and goodly Odysseus questioned her, saying, 'My child, couldst thou not guide me to the house of him they call Alcinous, who is lord among the people here? For I am come hither a stranger, sore tired, from afar, from a distant country. Wherefore I know no one of the people who possess this city and land.' Then the goddess, flashing-eyed Athena, answered him, 'Then verily, sir, stranger, I will show you the palace as though you bid me, for it lies hard by the house of my own noble father.'" Homer, the Odyssey, with an English translation by A.T. Murray, Ph.D., 2 volumes, Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press, London, William Heinemann, Limited, 1919. Continuing on, starting in line 39, quote, "So speaking, Pallas Athena," which is an epithet meaning warrior, "led the way quickly, and he followed in the footsteps of the goddess. And as he went through the city in the midst of them, the Phaeacians, famed for their ships, took no heed of him, for fair-tressed Athena, the dread goddess, would not suffer it, but shed about him a wondrous mist, for her heart was kind toward him. And Odysseus marveled at the harbors and the stately ships, at the meeting places where the heroes gathered themselves, and the walls long and high and crowned with palisades, a wonder to behold. But when they had come to the glorious palace of the king, the goddess, flashing-eyed Athena, was the first to speak, saying, 'Here, sir stranger, is the house which thou bidst me show you. And you will find the kings, fostered of Zeus, feasting at the banquet. Go thou with them, let not your heart fear nothing. For a bold man is better in all things, though he be a stranger from another land.' Arete, Alcinous, made his wife, and honored her as no other woman on the earth is honored. And of all those who in these days direct their households in subjection to their husbands, so heartily is she honored, and has ever been, who look upon her as upon a goddess, for she of herself is no wise lacking. If in her sight you do one favor, then there is hope that you will see thy friends, return to thy high-roofed house, and into thy native land." Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. Starting in book 7, line 80, "Flashing-eyed Athena departed as Odysseus entered into Alcinous' garden." The word here is plural for 2 gardens. "Golden youths, immortal were they and ageless all their days." Line 95. "Within, seats were fixed along the wall on either hand from the threshold to the innermost chamber, and on them were thrown robes of soft fabric, cunningly woven, the handiwork of women. On these the leaders of the Phaeacians were wont to sit drinking and eating, for they had unfailing store." Line 100. "And golden youths stood on well-built pedestals, holding lighted torches in their hands, to give light by night to the banqueters in the hall. And 50 slave women he had in the house, of whom some grind the yellow grain on the millstone." Line 105. "And others weave webs as they sit, twirl the yarn, like unto leaves of a tall poplar tree, and from the closely woven linen the soft olive oil drips down. But without the courtyard, hard by the door, here we go, is a great orchard of 4 acres, hedge rows about it on either side. Therein grow tall trees, tall and luxuriant, pears and pomegranates, apples with their bright fruit, and sweet figs and luxuriant olives. Of these the fruit perishes not, nor fails in winter or summer, but lasts throughout the year. And ever does the west wind, as it blows, quicken to life some fruits, and other ripens. Pear upon pear waxes ripe, apple upon apple, cluster upon cluster, fig upon fig. There too is his fruitful vineyard planted, one part of which, a warm spot on level ground, is being dried in the sun, while other grapes men are gathering, and others too they are treading. But in front are unripe grapes that are shedding the blossom, and others that are turning purple. There again the last row of the vines grow trim garden beds of every sort, blooming the year through, and therein are 2 springs, one of which sends its water throughout all the garden, while the other, over and against it, flows beneath the threshold of the court toward the high house. From this the townsfolk drink their water. Such were the glorious gifts of the gods in the palace of Alcinous. There the much-enduring goodly Odysseus stood and gazed, but when he had marveled in his heart all these things, he passed quickly over the threshold into the house. There he found the leaders and counselors of the Phaeacians pouring libations from their cups to the keen-sighted Argephantes. to whom they were wont to pour the wine last of all, when they were minded to go to their rest. But the much endearing goodly Odysseus went through the hall, wrapped in the thick mist which Athena had shed about him, till he came to Arete and to Alcinous the king. About the knees of Arete Odysseus cast his hands, and straightway the wondrous mist melted from him, and a hush fell upon all that were in the room at the sight of the man. And they marveled, and they looked upon him. But Odysseus made his prayer. Arete, daughter of the godlike Rhexenor, to thy husband and to thy knees I am come after many toils, I and to these banqueters, to whom may the gods grant happiness in life, and may each of them hand down to his children the wealth in his halls and the dues of honor which the people have given him. But for me, do ye speed my sending, that I may come to my native land, and that quickly. For a long time I have been suffering woes, far from my family, far from my friends. Now, notice that Odysseus, though he seems to reach paradise, longs to be with his friends and family. He knows that true paradise is home. It is his native land, not in another's house who is not his father. We must also see that though the welcomers in paradise are hospitable, Odysseus is still a sojourner. That is, he is a traveler with a purpose, to get back home. The pilgrimage Odysseus makes is one which must always lead him back to those he loves.